A very warm hearted welcome to all of you. This side is Abhinav Kumar. In today's lecture, what I am going to taught you is a very important topic with respect to UPSC preliminary examination, which is actually a part of geography as well. Specifically, if I said, it is mapping. As you can see here, this is the physical division of India. And what are the major dimensions which I am going to cover in this lecture is northern part of India, which is actually Jammu and Kashmir ka, and the next part will be the Ladakh portion. Okay. Before we went for that part, first we have to take care about the peripheral view of India, that exactly what the location of India in world as well as in Asia. Okay. So first we can go with the peripheral view of India, and then after we will going to enter in the Jammu Kashmir and the Ladakh portion. Okay. As you can see here, this is called as Asia's portion. This side is our Great India, Peninsular India. This side is Southeast Asia. This side is actually China's portion, and the upper part is actually Korean Peninsula, which is not today's class, which will not going to cover in today's class. But you can see here is Arabian Peninsula. This is the world largest peninsula, and first thing you have to take in your mind is I am not going to write each and everything, but definitely the statements, the facts which I am going to dictate or which I am going to deliver, you have to write it down carefully in your notebook. Okay. So you can find this side is Arabian Peninsula. This is Arabian Peninsula. Just a second. This side is Arabian Peninsula. Arabian Peninsula is actually world's largest peninsula. This peninsula is surrounded by three sides through oceans. As you can see, this is the location of India. Okay. So this is location of India. This side is Arabian Peninsula. This side is Southeast Asia, and Southeast Asia, the remaining portion I will going to plot. Just wait for a few minutes. Okay. So this section is the Gulf, or you can say Persian Gulf. This is called as the Gulf. Okay. This side is called as Red Sea. Okay. This is Red Sea. Okay. Now you can see here is a strait. First you can draw this side. Okay. This is called as Gulf of Oman. This section is called as Gulf of Oman. Actually this name is taken by the nation which is situated here. Okay. This is called as Gulf of Oman. Okay. And the lower portion, this side is called as, this section is called as Gulf of Aden. Gulf of Aden. Now make it sure that Gulf of Oman is connected through the Gulf of, or you can say Persian Gulf, by the help of a strait. This side is a strait, and this strait is called as Strait of Hormuz. Strait of Hormuz. And the lower part you can find here is another strait, and this strait is actually connecting Red Sea with the Gulf of Aden, and this is called as Bab el Mandeb. Strait of Bab el Mandeb. Strait of Bab el Mandeb. Okay. Now this side you will find is a sea which is actually part of Indian Ocean. This side is Indian Ocean. This portion is part of actually Indian Ocean, which is called as Arabian Sea. This side is Arabian Sea. Okay. And this side you will find is Bay of Bengal. Okay. This is Bay of Bengal. Okay. Now make it sure that this section, as you can see here, is consist of some islands, and these islands are actually archipelagos, or you can say festoons. I don't think there is requirement to tell you that what is the meaning of festoons. Festoons are nothing but arc of island, which is actually made up by certain islands. This is a curve of island which is actually made by the confluence, or you can say by the convergence of two plates. Actually this side is Indo-Australian plate, and this side is Eurasian plate. Okay. So this is some island. This is called as Indonesian arc of island. Okay. Now this side you can see is this section, you will find this is called as South China Sea. This is South China Sea. Okay. Now this side is India, this side is Arabian Peninsula, and this section, actually this part is called as Southeast Asia. Let me mention here also. This is called as Southeast Asia. I am going to direct it. It is actually this location. Okay. So this side, you can say this is Bay of Bengal. Let me rotate in a darker manner so you can see easily here. This is called as Bay of Bengal. Now, just see, here are some islands. You can see here is called as Sri Lanka. Okay, Sri Lanka is separated by a strait called Park Strait, which is spelled like P-A-L-K. Okay, P-A-L-K. This is not P-A-K. This is P-A-L-K. Okay, Park Strait. Now, moving forward, you can find here is some islands. These are called as Lakshadweep Islands. Okay. Now, this part is called as Maldives Islands, and then after you will find these are called as Chagos Islands. Let me mention here. These are Chagos Islands. Actually, a disputed territory between Britain and Mauritius. In recent time, 2025, now this island is declared as a legitimate part of Mauritius. This is a legit part now of Mauritius. Okay, there is a place also called Dio Gracia, which is actually currently also owned by America, USA, United States. Okay, and this portion is here to counter China's aggression. I don't think that this is a hidden thing that China is doing economic colonialism and they want to enter in this part. Okay, so to counter that, you can say Chinese aggression here, Dio Gracia is present, owned by America, initially owned by Britain, and nowadays this is a disputed territory between three nations, specifically wrote it down between America. Second is means United States, second is Britain, and the third one is Mauritius. Okay, now this is Malacca Strait, but not our cup of tea, at least for today's class. Okay, just I am going to mention some nations. Why? Because these nations are important for us. When I am going to plot some rivers here, you can say Mekong, Irrawaddy, Salween, Chao Phraya. These are actually moving towards the South China Sea portion, and actually they are taking water from the Himalayan portion, specifically Purvanchal Hills. Don't worry, I am going to plot. You are going to understand. Okay, just I am mentioning that what are the nations here. You can find this side is actually Vietnam. This is a nation called Vietnam. This side is Cambodia. Remaining portion of this is called as Laos. Make it sure Laos is the only landlocked nation of Southeast Asia. Otherwise, all other nations at least have border with one, at least one sea. You can see here is you can say is South China Sea, or you can say Bay of Bengal. Irrespective of what the sea is, they are at least making water with at least with the one sea. Okay, Southeast Asia, this is Vietnam, this is Cambodia. You can see here is called as Myanmar, and the remaining portion of this mighty area is called as Thailand. Make it sure that this section is actually Malaysia, and let me mention these names in the map because these are the important nations. They are receiving water from the Tibetan plateau actually, and Tibetan portion is Tibetan portion as well as the Purvanchal Hills wala part. They are taking water from that part. So this is important for us. Okay, so just see, this is Vietnam. This side is Cambodia. This side is Laos. This side is Malay, or you can say Malaysia. Malaysia is actually a isthmus. What is the meaning of isthmus? Isthmus is a narrow strip of land surrounded by three sides through oceans. I know you are confused between what is the meaning of peninsula, then what is the difference between you can say isthmus. Isthmus is actually a narrow strip of land, and peninsula is actually a solid one go slab which is larger as compared to, at least larger as compared to the isthmus wala portion. Okay, so this is Malaysia, and this side is a nation called Thailand. Okay, just okay, and this section is called as Myanmar. Now just see, this side is peninsular India. I am mentioning only India, but this is peninsular India. Okay. Three sides through oceans: Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, and Indian Ocean. This side you will find is Iran. This is Iran. This side is Pakistan. This side is India, and this side is Afghanistan. Okay. So these are the nations. You can see that specifically this will tell you that what the exact location of India is. Okay. So Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, Indian Ocean, Straits, and the remaining islands. Now I think you are aware about what the exact location of India is now. Just see, now I am going to plot what is the physical division of India. Okay. Just see here, this is Ladakh. This side you will find is Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and then after this is Sikkim. This is the northeastern portion of India, and then moving forward, this side is our Jammu and Kashmir wala portion. Actually, POK also situated here. This is Rajasthan. This side is Gujarat, and then after this is peninsular India. Okay, this is a broader map of India, as you can see here. Now I am going to make a physical division of India. This side is consist of Himalayas, and make sure that Himalayan portion is also in northeastern part along with the portion which is the far eastern portion of India. This is called as Purvanchal Hills, which I am going to taught you in some other lecture, but at least you can make this in your diagram. This is Sikkim. This side is our Himalayas. So this is our Himalayas. Fine. Let me mention here. This section you will find is our peninsular India. This is our peninsular portion. Okay. Just a second. Let me draw it properly. This is our peninsular India. Okay. This side is peninsular India. Okay. Now, the remaining portion which is present between Himalayas and the peninsular India is called as Great Indian Plain. I don't think there is a requirement to mention it alonely, but yes, at least we can plot it. Okay. This is our Great Indian Plain. This is Great Indian Plain. Great Indian Plain is actually world's largest arable plain. Make it sure that you can wrote it down. Great Indian Plain. And do wrote it down that this is world's largest arable as well as aggradational plain, made up of sediments which is actually brought by the rivers from Himalayas, and they are filled in a very narrow sea which was actually Tethys geosyncline, a very narrow shallow sea historically was present, geologically was present prior of Himalayas. Okay. Now, another portion which you can see here is our coastal plain. These are the coastal plain of India. There are two major coastal plain, as you can see here, is western and the eastern coastal plain. Let me mention here only the name of that coastal plain. Okay. This is called as coastal plain of India. This is coastal plain. And some islands here. So this is Lakshadweep Islands. These are islands of India. And the another portion which you can see here is Andaman and Nicobar Islands. This is Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Okay. This is called as physical division of India. Okay. Himalayas, Great Indian Plain, Peninsular India, Coastal Plain, and some islands present here. Done. Now, as I said that our topic of discussion is specifically this region. Why this region? Because a lot of strategic locations are here. A lot of areas which is actually under some other countries like Pakistan and China. Okay. So, now I am going to start with the Jammu and Kashmir ka mapping. Okay. I am going to plot India's northernmost part, which is actually look like this. You can see here is Jammu and Kashmir. Actually, this is Ladakh, and this side you will find is Jammu and Kashmir ka portion. let me make it in a more wider manner so you can easily plot the things, you can easily relate the things as well. Okay, just a second. So this is Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Let me duplicate that thing. Okay, now just see, this section is consist of, this side is actually Siachen, this is POK, Gilgit, Baltistan, and the area of POK here as well. Okay, now just see, these are some actually ranges. Specifically, this is called as Karakoram range. Okay, just after that you will find is Ladakh range. Okay, do make it sure that you will going to plot this. Okay, just plot and remember some of the statement which continuously I'll going to repeat. This is Karakoram, this side is Ladakh, and this side is Zaskar range, and then this is called as Pir Panjal range. So Karakoram, Ladakh, Zaskar, and then after is Pir Panjal range. This is some of the important ranges present here. Okay, these are parallel. Some of the, just like Karakoram, Ladakh, and Zaskar, these are the part of our Trans Himalayas, and then after some of these parts are for Great Himalayas, and some other is like Middle Himalayas. Okay, so you can see and you can easily draw that in your notebook. Okay, just a few seconds. Now make it sure that in this map we're going to plot some passes, some mountains, some specific locations like Kargil, like Siachen Leh Highway, like point NJ9842, Siachen Glacier, and some other strategic location as well. Okay, so these are the major ranges. Okay, let me mention that names. This is called as Karakoram range. Okay, this is called as Karakoram. This is called as Ladakh. This is called as Zaskar. This is called as Pir Panjal range. This is Pir Panjal range. This is Pir Panjal range. Okay, this is actually Middle Himalayas. These three ranges are actually Greater Himalayas, or you can say Trans Himalayas. Okay, now just see, now what I am going to plot here is some important locations. For example, just mention Karakoram range. This is a part of Trans Himalayas. Specifically, make it sure Karakoram, Ladakh, these are the core part of Trans Himalayas. Karakoram range, first statement that this is consist of India's highest peak, which is K2. Make sure that K2 is the highest peak of Himalayas. No, highest peak of India's. Highest peak of India is actually K2, also known as Godwin Austen. Next one, Karakoram is also consist of a pass called Karakoram Pass. Karakoram Pass, and do wrote it down that this pass is between three nations. Fine, this is between three nations, and the nations are actually China, India, and Pakistan. So you can say this pass is in a tri-junction between three major nations. And let me tell you, the current effort of this part is actually CPEC. CPEC, which is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, is proposed to pass from this area. And if this will going to be happen, it will be a disastrous thing for India. So counter that part. To counter that thing, you can find here is a glacier as well. You can easily find here is a glacier called Siachen Glacier. Okay, Siachen Glacier is a very much important strategic location. As I mentioned, this glacier can use to counter, or you can say this glacier is used to take a eagle's eye view in the Siachen ka portion as well as in the POK wala part. Okay, so make it sure that Siachen Glacier is in Karakoram range, Karakoram Pass is in Karakoram range, and K2, which is India's highest peak, which is actually in POK, and that POK is part of India, okay, is in Karakoram. Fine. I hope these things are clear. Moving forward, make it sure that this part is called as Ladakh. Ladakh, as I earlier told you that this is part of Trans-Himalayas. Make it sure this is consist of a peak called Rakaposhi. And Rakaposhi is the peak which is consists of a slope which is very sharper in nature. Even in some cases, this peak is considered as the steepest peak of Himalayas. You will find Shirk and Korea are the topographical phenomena present here, but we're going to discuss in the physical geography wala section, not in the mapping wala part. Okay, so this is Rakaposhi mountain. Rakaposhi mountain. Another thing which is important for this section is a pass. As I said, this pass is also important. This is called as Khardungla Pass. Khardungla Pass. Now, what is the importance of Khardungla Pass? This pass used to provide an entry, or you can say specifically a national highway from this portion. This is called as Leh. Leh to Siachen highway actually passes through the Karakoram, passes through the Khardungla Pass. Okay, wrote it down that which national highway actually passes through. This is called as Leh Siachen highway. Okay, passes through this area. Siachen highway passes through Khardungla Pass. So this is consist of a pass. Let me make that diagram. This side is Karakoram, this side is Khardungla Pass. Okay, I hope things are clear now. Okay, this is Khardungla Pass. Now make it sure that between Ladakh and Zaskar, you will find capital of Ladakh, which is called as Leh. Okay, this is Leh. Okay, and then after you will find is Kargil. This is Kargil. Not exactly here, it is actually here. This is called as Kargil. And a river called as Indus play their course between Ladakh and Zaskar, passes through this area near to Leh, then from Kargil. Now just focus a smart thing. You can see Leh is in upper part of Indus and Kargil is in lower part of Indus, but still Kargil alonely is in northern part as compared to the Leh wala section. What I am repeating, just I repeat that part. You can see this is Indus. This is called as Indus. Okay, you will find this side is Leh, which is in northern part. Okay, and you will find this is Kargil. Okay, so Kargil is in southern part of Indus, Leh is in northern part of Indus, but if you compare, then Leh and Kargil, they are mutually present here. Kargil is in northern part and Leh is in southern part. Are you getting my point? So respective with each other, their locations are important. Okay, so this side is Leh, this side is Kargil, and this is a river called Indus. This is called as Indus. This is Indus river. Okay, originates from this part. This is called as lake called Mansarovar Lake. This is called as Mansarovar. This is called as Mansarovar Lake, and through which this river originates. One thing also you can wrote it down, that extension of Karakoram is present here by the name of Kailash range. So Karakoram continuation is present here, which is called as Kailash, and just in the southern part of Kailash you will find Mansarovar Lake. Okay, done. Now you can see this part is called as Zaskar. This is Zaskar, And for Zaskar specifically, I want to mention that some portion of Zaskar is present in Greater Himalayas and some of this part is also present in Trans Himalayas. So Zaskar is actually in two portions, Trans Himalayas as well as Greater Himalayas. Fine, done. Now you can see there is two major passes which are present in Zaskar range, and the two major passes are, first one is called as Burzil Pass. Okay, this is called as Burzil Pass. Yeah, Burzila Pass. La stand for actually pass. Okay, this is called as Burzil Pass. Okay, just I can remove that part because there is no need for mentioning this portion in this map. Okay, first one is, as I said, there is a pass called Burzil Pass or Burzila Pass. This connects India with POK. This used to connect India with POK, or you can say India with Pakistan. Done. And the remaining part and the another pass is called as Zojila Pass. This is called as Zojila Pass. Okay. And Zojila Pass used to connect India with Siachen, and prior of that, this pass was used to do trade between India and China and Tibet. So ancient part, this pass was used for trade between India, Tibet and China. Currently, this used to connect India with the portion called Siachen. And make it sure that this portion, just in the southern part of these two passes, this is called as Kashmir Valley or Srinagar. I'm going to discuss this part, but for just shake of mind, make sure that this section connects Srinagar and Siachen. Okay, you can mention for prelims point of view that in ancient time this used for trade as well, for trade purposes between India and China and Tibet. Fine. Now this section you can find, this side is Zaskar range and this side is Pir Panjal range. Make it sure the middle portion between these two are called as Kashmir Valley. Okay, this is a very sensitive area. This is called as Kashmir Valley. Let me mention that name first. This is called as Kashmir Valley. And Kashmir Valley is consist of a place called Srinagar. Okay, Kashmir Valley is consist of a place. I am repeating. Valley, a portion is larger, and some portion is dedicated for a town called Srinagar. Some of the students are confused that Srinagar is consist of Kashmir Valley. This is a wrong statement. Okay, Kashmir Valley is very much a vast area, and a small portion of that is called as Srinagar. Not that Srinagar is larger area and Kashmir Valley is in Srinagar. This is a very wrong interpretation of some of the headlines of newspaper. Okay, so Kashmir Valley is a very vast area and some of that part is consist of Srinagar. Okay, this is called as Srinagar. Let me mention the name. This is Srinagar. Okay. This is Srinagar. Now, Srinagar, if you want to go for the Siachen wala section, if you want to enter in this part, this is called as Siachen. Okay, let me mention here. This is called as Siachen. This is Siachen Glacier. Let me glacier. So if you want to enter in the Siachen wala part, what the exact path of our armed forces? First, they're going to move from the Srinagar. Srinagar, they used to take a pass called Zojila Pass. Then they will going to enter in Leh. From Leh, they'll use the Khardungla Pass by using a national highway called Leh Siachen Highway, and then after they will going to enter in the Siachen portion. Make sure that during 1999 ka Kargil war, Pakistani troops, they are actually misleading or they are doing a shallow firing in Kashmir wala portion just to make a cover for their forces. Just they want to destroy this part. So make sure that Leh Siachen highway is the most important highway for Indian Armed Forces to reach Siachen, and that Siachen is important for, as I said, for eagle's eye view between the two territories of India which are currently being exercised by the enemy nations. Okay, now you can see this is Kashmir Valley, this is Srinagar, and Srinagar section is consist of a river as well. Let me make that thing separate. Okay, so we can make that thing separate, so we can make a clean map of that. Okay, just a few seconds. You can mark this section as a Kashmir Valley. See, this is Srinagar. There is a river called Jhelum River. This is Jhelum River, and this river used to meander in the Kashmir Valley, and then after this river went for the Pakistan. Okay, and this also consists of a lake called Oxbow Lake, a type of Oxbow Lake named as Wular Lake. So this is Srinagar. This river is called as Jhelum. Let me mention the name. This is called as Srinagar, and the river is called as Jhelum. This is Jhelum River, and Jhelum River used to meander in that part. This lake is called as Wular Lake. Okay, let me mention some facts about Wular Lake. This is Jhelum River. Okay, this is Jhelum River. Let me mention. This is Jhelum River, and the two meanders of Jhelum River is connected. This forms a Oxbow Lake. Okay, this is a type of Oxbow Lake. This is Oxbow Lake. Okay, make sure that Oxbow Lake is also considered as a Oxbow Lake, and this lake is considered as a Mort Lake also. Mort Lake. Why we call it Mort Lake? I think you have heard about the word called immortal. What is the meaning of immortal? Immortal means one who will never end, or that will never occur. This lake is Mort Lake. Why? Because the major source of water of Oxbow Lake is actually river water from Jhelum. River water. Make sure that Oxbow Lake, Wular Lake is actually a Oxbow Lake, but Wular is not a Mort Lake. Wular is not a Mort Lake. Why? Because still some of the portion of Wular Lake is connected with the Jhelum River. So we said that Oxbow Lake will end after a few time, just because these lakes are separated from the main source of water. The main source of water for these lakes are actually rivers, and they are being separated. But still Wular Lake is connected with the Jhelum River, so they will not going to end. That's why this is called as, by the shape, this is called as Oxbow, but not a Mort Lake. Wrote it down that Wular Lake is India's also largest freshwater lake. This is called as India's largest freshwater lake. This is India's largest freshwater lake, Wular Lake, situated in Srinagar. I don't think this is a tough thing for you. This is largest freshwater lake of India. Largest freshwater lake, and this is present in Srinagar. Just a second, let me mention it. This is in Srinagar. Srinagar in Kashmir Valley. So wrote it down that some important facts of Wular Lake is this, and this is the course of that river. Also do mention that Jhelum river is making border between India and Pakistan. Why? Just you can see here. Actual the legit area of India is up to here. And this river is making border with that part. This is a natural border made by the Jhelum river. Okay. So this side is Pir Panjal range, upper part is Kashmir Valley, and the lower part, let me mention, this is called as Jammu. Okay. This is called as Jammu. So this side is Jammu and this side is Srinagar. Now, just I want to mention that there is two major passes present. Namely, there are Banihal Pass and the another pass is called as Pir Panjal Pass. So, Pir Panjal range is consist of two major passes. First pass is called as same, that Pir Panjal Pass. This is called as Pir Panjal Pass. Let me mention. This is called as Pir Panjal Pass. This is Pir Panjal Pass. This pass is used for tourism purposes only. Okay, this is not a complete pass actually. This pass is actually used by the tourist for a very cinematic view of some of the grassland present here, specifically temperate grassland, which is called as Marg, Gulmarg and Sonmarg. I think you have heard about that part. Okay, so this section is called as Pir Panjal Pass for tourism purposes, and the another pass is here by the name of Banihal Pass. This is called as Banihal Pass. Now, make sure that Banihal Pass is crucial for India. Why crucial for India? Let me mention it separately in a map. Just see here. Okay. Now I want each one of you have to concentrate here, just because this section will tell you why the terror activities are there in Jammu and Kashmir, why the area is subjected with the terrorism. You can find this is Pir Panjal Pass. You can find this is Pir Panjal range. You can see, let me mention, this is called as Pir Panjal range. Pir Panjal range. This is called as Srinagar. I hope you can relate. This is Srinagar. This is Jammu. Okay, this is Jammu. Fine. Just see that there is a river called Jhelum which originates from this part, this meander and used to enter in Pakistan. Make sure that this portion is called as POK. I am right. This section is called as POK. The portion which is here is actually a very alienated, a remote area. Does not consist of very much population. That's why this area is used by Pakistan for training of terrorists. The major training center of terrorists are actually located here in Gilgit and Baltistan. So terrorists are being trained in Gilgit and Baltistan, but they cannot enter from this area in India. Why? Because our armed forces are present here and this area is very much flatter. This is actually a plateau wala portion, but yes, it is a flat area. So we can make a watertight border to prevent entering of terrorists from this portion. And we are also aware about that terror training centers are present here. But the major problem is this, that in this portion, you can find this portion is highly populated. This side is valley portion and this area is consist of population. And this is actually used by terrorists to enter in Srinagar wala portion, to enter in Kashmir Valley wala portion, just by using this river called Jhelum. Okay, just by using this Jhelum river. Why? Just notice the thing. The terror training centers, they enters in this area during winters, the water level in Jhelum river is significantly reduces. I don't think that you are not aware about that statement that India wants to develop several other dam projects in Jhelum river just to maintain certain amount of water during winters as well. Why? Just because terrorists used to enter by Jhelum river. Why? Because during winters, significant decrease in water make it simple to swim against the stream and enter in valley portion. You can find two major places. First by the name of Anantnag, another is by name of Baramulla. You will find Jhelum river is navigable in this part. I'll just mention that name, Anantnag, and Baramulla are the two places between Jhelum river is navigable, and you will find major terror activities are held between this stretch. Why? Because Jhelum river is easily navigable in that part. Terrorists use this river to enter and they make the disastrous conditions here in Kashmir Valley. Now, another thing which supports actually here for terrorist is the location of that part. Everyone actually knows that our mainland India, including Jammu, used to connect with Srinagar by a single pass which is called as Banihal Pass. This is called as Banihal Pass. As I said, Pir Panjal Pass is not a absolute complete pass. This does not provide entry from Jammu up to absolute Srinagar. The only pass actually which provides year-long connectivity. Make sure the statement is this is Banihal Pass. This is Banihal Pass, and this pass used to provide entry, or this used to connect Jammu with Srinagar. Jammu and Srinagar. But there is a big problem. What the problem is? Same time, when Jhelum is consist of lesser amount of water, our Banihal Pass is also closed due to heavy snowfall. Banihal Pass is actually closed during winters. Just see what a tragic thing is this. Terrorists can easily enter in Srinagar, and for countering that part, our armed forces are not being able to enter from Jammu in Srinagar. So this part is actually isolated from the mainland India. Just to overcome that thing, we are smarter. We used to construct a very important, very significantly used for strategic point of view, a tunnel called Jawahar Tunnel. Jawahar Tunnel. So Jawahar Tunnel is actually in Banihal Pass, and this used to provide us year-long connectivity, specifically between Jammu and Kashmir, just to prevent terrorism here. You can find also there is another tunnel which is constructed by Government of India called Chenari Nashiri Tunnel also. Same range, same area, same connectivity. Fine with this? Just wrote it down. Okay. So now you can find the major ranges here, major passes, major places, and now I am going to plot a important map for your locational point of view. You can see here is our Jammu and Kashmir. You can see here is our Jammu and Kashmir. Just mention. Okay. Now there is two or three major places. Wrote it in your copies. Just see, this part is called as LOC. This section is called as LOC. What is LOC? It is line of actual control. No, line of control. LOC, line of control. and this section is called as LAC, line of actual control. This is LAC, line of actual control. And this section is called Siachen. This is Siachen, and this section is called as POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Now, make it sure that just. Now, make it sure that this line is clear up to a point called NJ9842. And after that, you can find Siachen Glacier. This is Siachen Glacier. Okay. So, Siachen Glacier was initially not part of, or you can say after 1971 treaties. This one thing was not clear in that treaty, that Siachen Glacier is owned by which nation? Absolutely, this is owned by India. No doubt that Siachen Glacier, or you can say POK, is legit part of India. But yes, this is not mentioned in the 1971 treaty, which says that this portion is POK, this line is called as LOC, and LOC is clear up to NJ9842, but not clearly mentioning about the line, about the point, about the location called Siachen. There was a specific line wrote in the treaty which says that LOC is present northern up to the glacier from point NJ9842. You can easily understand this line is not clearly communicating what the exact location, what the exact you can say legitimate area of Siachen specifically is of India or specifically of Pakistan. This was a blunderous mistake. Fine. So this Siachen was not clear in 1971. That's why in 1984 we used to exercise an operation called Operation Meghdoot. Fine. Operation called Meghdoot under the leadership of Veer Bahadur Singh Bana, and that's why, and we used to win that glacier also. And this operation is called as Meghdoot, led by Bana, B-A-N-A. That's why this post is called as Bana Post. Actually, in 1971, we was in a stage that we can easily negotiate with Pakistan to cede away that part, but this was a mistake. This was a you can say conditions was not that much good or favorable for India to take away that part from Pakistan. But at least we used to clear the LOC, what the exact location or what the exact points of LOC was cleared during that part. Fine. So in 1984, Operation Meghdoot under the leadership of Veer Bahadur Singh Bana, we used to capture that part, we used to win that part, and now up to 1999, we exercises a MOU. MOU means Memorandum of Understanding. Okay, that Memorandum of Understanding says that Pakistan and India both mutually used to decide that they will remove their forces from Siachen during winters because the temperature of that part is minus 50 degrees Celsius. Just imagine, bone marrow also used to solidify in that part during winters. Very harsh climate, inhabitable climate, at least for humans. We signed a treaty with the Pakistan that will going to leave that part during winters, and after winters, the exact location, exact positions will occupy by the respective nations. Fine. But we think that Pakistan is a principal governed nation. He will follow that thing. But Pakistan never follows. In 1999, Kargil war was held, and Pakistan intimidate, and Pakistan want to capture Siachen Glacier here. Pakistan wants to capture this part, and that's why they bombard, they actually shallow fire in Kargil. So they used to fire in Kargil wala portion, they fire in Leh wala portion just to counter their climbing in Siachen. But by the help of Israel, I don't think I don't think that there is a requirement to tell you that how that war was completed. By the help of Israel, we used to counter that part. By the equipment provided by the Israel, we used to counter that things. Absolutely. After that part, we never went away from Siachen. We exercises year-long presence of soldiers in that part. Year-long presence in Siachen after 1999. Our armed forces, specifically if I mention that Niti Aayog said that per day cost to maintain a single soldier in Siachen is roughly around 5 crore. Just imagine, per day Indian government used to expend or used to at least 5 crore in a day to maintain a single soldier in that part. Just a single soldier in Siachen. Cost is 5 crore. Why? Because of the inhabitable climate in that part, inhabitable conditions in that part. As I said, in winters, temperature is minus 50 degrees Celsius. Things are freezed, absolutely freezed. Fine. So this is Siachen, this is NJ 9842, this side is Kargil, this side is Leh. Let me mention it clearly, otherwise you're going to confuse. Okay. This is LOC. Okay. This side is called as Kargil. Let me mention, this is called as Kargil. This is Leh. This side is Srinagar. This is Srinagar. This side is Jammu. Okay. So make sure Siachen, NJ 9842, Kargil, Leh, Srinagar and Jammu. These are the exact locations of the points from north to south. Wrote it down in your notebook. Fine. These are the important ranges. These are the important locations and the passes. Fine. I hope these things are clear in your mind, as well as the Southeast Asia locations. And this video is, I'm just thinking that this video is important for you. Do mention, do leave your comment. Just comment it down that how this video is helpful for you. And if you want, then we can continue this series for upcoming days. Thank you. Have a nice day.